Sooner or later, something bad's going to happen. And we told them that several times, not just one time. 2 or 3 times we mentioned to them, something's bad's going to happen over there.
So something you don't want to hear or see at 1 o'clock in the morning. You hear somebody screaming in the middle of the street and you thinking, just somebody getting into it or something, but it's actually a child fighting for her life. And she was trying to save her and her brothers due to him killing her mother.
In a grim twist of fate, the vibrant and humorous 33-year-old Christina Abner had a life filled with laughter, socializing, and joy. Her love story with 35-year-old Keith Lee, dating since around 2010, resulted in the arrival of 3 children, including a girl and 2 boys. The couple frequently shared idyllic family snapshots, capturing their adventures, birthdays, and special moments on social media, portraying an image of a flawless partnership.
It's live, you know that, right?
Beneath this veneer of perfection, those who knew them intimately, friends, family, and neighbors, were aware of the grim reality. Behind closed doors, Christina and Keith engaged in ceaseless arguments and heated conflicts, leading to multiple police visits over the years. Keith faced arrests on several occasions. In October, documents show Lee was arrested for harassing Abner, but the charge was dismissed. In 2010, he was arrested for reportedly hitting her. Lee pleaded no contest and received deferred adjudication. Nevertheless, the couple decided to marry, share a household, and build a family together. Tragically, the ominous premonitions of concerned neighbors would eventually come to fruition. Welcome to the American Crime, Femicide channel. Please like, subscribe, share, and watch the video. Don't forget to hit the notification button for future video uploads. Christina had been grappling with the grim reality of her volatile relationship, driven by a burning desire for change not just for herself but for the well-being of her children. Her aspirations were beginning to take shape, marked by a new job that promised a fresh start, increased stability, and a safer environment beyond the confines of her shared home with her husband. Tragically, on Friday, December 15th, Christina's hopes and dreams were brutally derailed when Keith, her husband, shot and killed her. The exact motive behind this horrific act remains shrouded in darkness. On that fateful night, Keith's malevolence extended beyond Christina, inflicting pain and suffering upon all 3 of their children. While the oldest and middle child managed to escape, seeking refuge with neighbors and summoning the police, the scene inside their home was one of unspeakable horror. Paramedics arrived to find the children, aged 11, 6, and 3, bearing the harrowing scars of abuse, their eyes swollen, their bodies battered. Court documents reveal a grim catalog of injuries, including a skull fracture, brain hemorrhage, and a collapsed lung. In a back room, Christina's lifeless body lay, the victim of a gunshot.
Just learned the identity of a mother murdered allegedly by her husband. He's accused of shooting her and then beating their 3 children. 2 of them sought help from a neighbor as captured on heartbreaking doorbell camera video. The horrific scene played out in the South Union neighborhood overnight. ABC 13 reporter Jessica Willey is live at the jail. Doesn't get any worse than this, Jess.
Yeah, Erica, it is just a terrible situation to report tonight. This happened overnight. The husband identified in court records and by neighbors and friends as Keith Marion Lee is not yet listed here at the Harris County Jail, but he will be, HPD says, in the coming days. He was arrested after he climbed onto a neighbor's roof. Family members tonight identified the victim as his wife, Christina Abner. They tell me that things were looking up for her, and then tragedy struck. Tonight, a lone bouquet and candles outside the home on Enyart where 2 children fled for their lives. Doorbell camera video showed the girl with her younger brother bloodied and bruised at a neighbor's home begging for help, and across the street, their father up on the roof.
It's something you don't want to hear or see at 1 o'clock in the morning. You hear somebody screaming in the middle of the street and you thinking, just somebody getting into it or something, but it's actually a child fighting for her life. And she was trying to save her and her brothers due to him killing her mother.
Police found their door wide open, their mother in a room shot to death, and their little brother beaten unconscious. Violence neighbors feared would come.
Sooner or later, something bad's going to happen. And we told them that several times, not just one time. 2 or 3 times we mentioned to them, something's bad's going to happen over there.
Neighbor Roderick Spradley said Houston police had been called to the home before. HPD confirms 3 times in the last 6 months. In October, court records show Keith Lee was arrested on a harassment charge involving his wife that was later dismissed. In 2010, he was arrested for hitting his wife. He pleaded no contest and got deferred adjudication. 13 years later, there was a marked change. Spradley says Lee recently broke out the windows on the house and smashed his own car.
He mentioned and told me that he was smoking PCB. He did tell me that himself. And I begged, I said, please, you can't do that. You have your kids, your wife, this house.
The victim, Christina Abner, was 32. A relative tells ABC 13 she just got a new job and was getting her life on track. He says she loved her children dearly. She was a wonderful mother and sister who will be truly missed. The children were hospitalized, their outcry heartbreaking, their father being held responsible.
In the wake of this harrowing ordeal, neighbors have come forward to share the chilling events of that night and their nightmarish experiences of living next door to the family.
The HPD has confirmed to me, in fact, that they were called to the same address 3 times in just the last 6 months for disturbance calls. And this morning, neighbors' worst fears were realized. About 1:20 this morning, gunfire rang out on Enyard Street. Moments later, 2 children ran to a neighbor's home begging for help. These images may be difficult to watch. We've chosen not to air the audio in this Ring doorbell video.
And the little girl, she kept screaming. She said, yes, my little brother, he's still in the house. He's still in the house. She said, he shot my mother. He shot my mother. The daughter, if it wasn't for her, they probably wouldn't be alive today.
The woman who stepped in to help doesn't want to be identified. When police arrived, they found the suspect on the roof. Look at that. The children's mother dead and 1 child injured inside the home. Neighbors say things weren't always so volatile with this family.
When they first moved over there, they were normal. Out of his own mouth, he told me he got hold to some wet PCP, a bad change in the household. More arguing, in and out the kids, sitting outside perhaps maybe by themselves.
Roderick Spradley says when police showed up at the house in prior incidents, neighbors spoke up.
I did ask a couple of officers, there's weapons in the house because he has admitted to having weapons. There are kids in the home. And if something is not done, something bad is going to happen.
I did ask HPD about that, and they say the suspect was, in fact, arrested back in October on one of those prior disturbance calls, but obviously he was able to return home.
Keith Lee is charged with murder and 3 counts of causing injury to child. If convicted, he faces the death penalty. In light of this tragedy, Christina's family has set up a GoFundMe campaign with the following message. As many of you know, our beloved sister Christina was tragically taken from us due to domestic violence, leaving behind 3 innocent children, ages 11, 4, and 3. Not only are our niece and nephews suffering and grieving the loss of their mother, they too were present and brutally beaten at the time of their mother's murder and are still recovering from their injuries. Christina was a loving mother, daughter, sister, niece, cousin, and friend to us all. She, above all else, would want her babies to be taken care of, and we are committed as a family to ensure that happens. The magnitude of the trauma, both physically and emotionally, that our niece and nephews have experienced cannot be put into words. That said, we are humbly asking for donations to help support them. As the family grapples with their unimaginable loss, let us hold them in our thoughts and offer our heartfelt prayers during this time of profound grief. May the children find strength for a swift recovery, and may Christina Abner rest in eternal peace.